What's going on? Welcome to the 5-Minute Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Colton Olson, and on this podcast, we spend about 5 minutes, I say about 5, give or take a couple sometimes, breaking down and teaching you to apply psychological concepts that world-class athletes, CEOs, coaches, and elite military units use to take their performance to the next level. The key word here is apply. I don't want you to come here and just get a bunch of information and not know how to use it. I want you to leave here every day feeling like you have something in your hands that you can use right away to improve your life. Let's get to it. What's going on? Welcome back or welcome to 5-Minute Mindset. I'm going to start today off with an obvious statement. I'm going to tell you that it is hard to do hard things. Right? And when I say hard things, I don't just mean all the stuff we think about right off the top of our heads, like it's hard to run ultra marathons, it's hard to become a Navy SEAL, it's hard to climb Mount Everest, it's hard to perform brain surgery. We know all that. Those are super hard things. I mean, it's hard to do hard things that most of us have to or want to do every single day. Right? Working out every day is hard. Raising kids is hard. Starting a business is hard. Making sales calls is hard. Eating healthy consistently is hard, right? All of these things are challenging. And as I said with my Captain Obvious statement earlier, right, it's hard to do these things. It's hard to do them once, and it's really, really hard to do them consistently, right? It's harder to get up 5 a.m. 5 days in a row and go to the gym than it is to get up at 5 a.m. one day and go to the gym. But as hard as these things are, being great requires us to do difficult things consistently, right? So what do? How do we put ourselves in a position to do hard things consistently and handle these tough things that we need to do? So I've gone through some methods of handling challenges previously on the podcast before, but today I want to present you with a simple tactic that you can employ right now that's great for getting you to do the things you don't want to do. So I mentioned in the past, in previous episodes, that the absolute best way to get better at handling challenges is by willingly pursuing challenges. So people who are great at doing hard things, handling challenges, typically have a lot of willpower. And willpower is a muscle that we can flex and make stronger. So the more often we challenge ourselves and we use those challenges to learn or to get better, the stronger our willpower muscle gets and the more readily available it is for us. And the opposite is also true. So the less we challenge ourselves, the less we put ourselves in difficult situations, the weaker our willpower muscle gets, and then we eventually have no capacity to handle challenges, which is bad news because you need to seek challenges out because challenges are going to find you one way or another. They're going to show up. So you might as well go get them before they get you. You need to have that capacity. And when you're working on flexing that willpower muscle and choosing to do hard things, maybe the most important thing you can do or actually stop doing is negotiating with yourself. So whenever we're faced with hard things, no matter how strong your willpower muscle is, there's always a moment where we want to negotiate with ourselves and find a reason to avoid the challenge that we know we're supposed to take on. So for example, a lot of people love the idea of getting up early and going to the gym right away, starting their day off by getting their workout in and then doing the rest, right? They know that starting their day at the gym not only keeps them physically fit, but it keeps them mentally sharp throughout the day, and it gives them more energy. They know it puts them in the best position to succeed throughout the day, right? And even though they know all of this, they know it's true, just about every time that alarm goes off at 5 a.m., there's a moment where their brain wants to start negotiating. They start thinking about how warm the bed is, how they could sleep in, they can go work out later, they can do it after work, right? How they're sore and they might need a day off, blah, 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 right? And the longer this negotiation goes on, the more likely it is that you're going to take the easy road and not do what you're supposed to do. And the more often you give in and you take that easy road, the more likely it is that it becomes your default setting. And you're just someone that wants to do things easy. And then you're never making yourself any better, right? So if you want to get better at doing hard things consistently, and you want to flex that willpower muscle and see some consistent growth, you need to stop negotiating with yourself, right? Do not entertain that voice that creeps into your head when you're about to do something that's going to be tough, right? It's going to give you all the reasons it can think of that you need to back off, and if you entertain it, it's going to win. The longer you let that conversation go, the more likely it is you're going to let that voice win. So you need to stop negotiating, and that voice never goes away. It's always going to be there. You're just going to get better at overcoming it. So when it comes to stopping negotiation, there's really only one tactic you need, and that tactic is action. Nothing shuts that negotiation down like just taking action, right? When that alarm goes off, you reach over, you shut it off, and you put your feet on the ground. Done. Don't give the voice a chance. When it's time to make the sales call and you don't want to, you just punch that number in, hit dial, throw it on speakerphone, that's it. No negotiation. My challenge for you today and the rest of this week, stop negotiating with yourself and shut that thing down by taking action. Be action oriented. Just take the first step and then adjust as needed as you go on. Negotiating with yourself gets you nowhere and it yields nothing. So stop the negotiations now. All right, that's all we got for today. If you enjoyed the podcast, please subscribe, leave a review, and I'll see you back here next time on 5 Minute Mindset.